Hi, I'm Nathan, and this is the AR Minute from AWE EU. Today we're talking with Sarah, and I cannot wait to get started. Can you please introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit about what you do in the metaverse in healthcare?
Hi, my name is Sarah Ticho. I wear quite a few different hats in the world of XR and health. So I started out as a maker and I developed VR experiences that bring together artists and scientists to create experiences of mental health, and also am part of the XR Health Alliance as well.
What's your dream as sort of a multifaceted XR persona?
I think I'm really interested in how we bring all these different industries working in XR together, and that it still feels very fragmented, that there's like amazing work happening in the creative industries and a lot happening in health as well, but it feels like, how do we bring the two together? And I'm really excited for ways that we can have these amazing, beautiful, compelling experiences that can actually be brought to patients and used in preventative care as well. How can we use VR to help us understand our bodies better, how to understand our health and each other as well, and actually make it accessible to the broader public rather than just the few people that are currently involved in the metaverse.
So this is a total sidebar and probably won't make the episode, but I got goosebumps when you said XR help us understand our bodies better, because AR changed my gender.
Really?
Yeah, it's a story for another time.
No, can we not find it out now?
Well, so the long and short of it, right, is that with ADHD, I often have blocks in understanding things that aren't like overtly explained to me. And I had a job of explaining and showing where the value in XR was. And I started trying on, it was, in the teens, and so I was trying on filters and demonstrating to people like what XR could do. And I started playing with fashion and beauty filters as a joke, and they resonated. I started to see things that I enjoyed, that felt good, that gave me euphoric sensations. And then I watched a video on TikTok where a mother and child were communicating about gender identities, and the kid said, I think I'm non-binary and want to use they, them pronouns. That sort of seeds that AR planted of like, I have different presentations. And the sentence, I was like, do I want to use non-binary pronouns? And got that same like physical yes response. I've been interested in working in XR for years. And in the last 2 years, it's totally transformed my sense of self, my comfort in my body, the confidence and the way that I go about things. But this episode is not about me, it's about the great work that y'all are doing.
Yeah, no, you should keep it in, because it's about people. That's what this should be about, and about our bodies, how we understand each other, how we understand ourselves.
We often hear, right, about the stats, the specs, the sales, how much it's gonna save, how efficient it's going to be. But to the point of like well-being, wellness, the quality of life that we have, there's so many immeasurable things.
And I think that's the challenge that we often find in healthcare, is that how do you prove something's meaningful? You have to have randomized control trials, you have to have the data to back it up. And that is obviously really important, but it's all those moments where it's just like, I haven't left my house in 5 years, and then I got to put on a VR headset and like walk on the moon, and it reminded me that actually I can do anything, and now I've left the house for the first time. And all those things like that I think like really get left out of the conversation, that really need to be put front of center.
Thank you for that, and I guess we'll probably keep it in. So we also hear about the challenges of access, accessibility, safety, bandwidth. As people who are advocating for XR in this space and building these tools, what is your responsibility for addressing these sticky problems? And are there ways that you're addressing it in the work that you're doing now?
There's such a range of challenges across this space, and anything from like the standard infection to control to like, what does it actually mean for our identities, and how VR can really kind of reshape like who we think of, how do we think of like who we are, right? And how do these powerful experiences sort of change that? And I think we just need to have like more debate over this whole spectrum of who are the creators, how are they co-created, how do you bring together the academics and the healthcare providers and the patients and keeping them really at the center of the experience as well, and how do we start to create standards and regulation around it, which is like really quite a massive task. And so there's, I think, quite a lot of organisations that are really thinking about this now. I'm part of the XR Safety Initiative that have their medical advisory council. But the thing is like, you know, the whole of the XR industry, we're all trying to work out like, what is the financial model? Like, how do all these projects get funded and distributed? And like beyond that, it's also like, well, how do we fund like the philosophers and the thinkers and what we were talking about last night and the creatives? But like, this is political, and how do we kind of create space for this debate long term as well. So that's kind of some of the stuff that we're trying to do at the moment, and it's like a long journey, but it's like so interesting, and just be able to come to places like here where you do have video games designers and thinkers and philosophers and healthcare providers all coming together and having these conversations. But I think also being like, well, where do we go to from here? Like, what are the goals? Like, what is the mission? And how do we align everyone instead of it being this sort of fragmented system across the whole of XR, but even in healthcare? And that there's all this work happening in the US, and then totally different stuff happening in Europe and Asia and the rest of the world. And I think we just need to think about more ways to come together.
So we've made it to the last question. Congratulations. You've done superbly. And it's simply a fill in the blank. The future is?
Ooh, the future is embodied. I think for me, XR is all about embodiment and playfulness, and how we can bring that together with storytelling and health.
Sarah, such an exquisite pleasure to get to talk with you.
Thank you so much.